me, myself, and I. It's me, myself, and I. Me, myself, and I. It's me, myself, and I.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, kids of all ages, it's time for your weekly Fix of Funny. Broadcasting on radio in Fort Bragg, 107.7 FM, KNYO. Grab a mimosa, take your pants off, and treat yourself to the sexy bald man who makes you tingle in your special place. I was talking about your heart. He's wrong, but he's so right. He's brilliant, he's insightful, but also at times he's got the intelligence of a cup of dirt. Here we go, it's the Me, Myself, and I Show, starring Mike Bencott!
Hello, 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 and welcome to another exciting episode of Me, Myself, and I. I am your host, Mike Betancourt, episode 110, right here, streaming live on Twitch and Facebook. Do you like my Hawaiian shirt? I hope so, because I'm trying to go for the Tom Selleck look, because he's got a great mustache and I can't pull off that mustache. But anyways, thank you so much for being here. I also want to let you guys know I got a special guest, ladies and gentlemen. I got a special guest. I've been promoting it, and I'm very excited to have him here. He's from V101. From Fox 40, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Big Al Sam will be here, ladies and gentlemen. He's on the show. He's waiting to jump in. He's in the green room. He's having M&Ms. He's drinking sparkling wine. He's chilling right now. I see him laughing. Thank you for being here, Big Al. I really appreciate it. I stuttered and stumbled, but I'm going to keep on going. Anyways, before we move on to Mr. Big Al Sam's, I have some unfortunate news, ladies and gentlemen. This week, I am not doing a Mike commercial. Normally, every single week, I've been doing commercials for small businesses, and that helps them to promote their small business. During this pandemic, I've been doing that, making sure I've been making some funny commercials for all these small businesses, and I couldn't find anyone for this week. So I don't know what I'm going to do, but listen, if you have a small business, if you are a performing artist, if you need free promotions, if you need a free commercial, look no further, because I am here, ladies and gentlemen. Me, myself, and I will be here for you to make your promotion, make your business better. That's what I have to do. That's all I have to say. I know it's a lot going on right now, but I don't know what I'm going to do in this segment. I really don't know. I had something to fill. I really don't know.
Well, you're probably asking yourself a question right now. Why is the sexiest performer on Twitch today on my screen right now? Well, I'm here to tell you about the weather. And the weather in one of my favorite places in the world, Brazil. Now, the next time you're in Brazil, it's a huge tourist attraction, okay? Now, the weather in Brazil today is beautiful. It's about 69 degrees. But let me tell you something else. When you go to Brazil, it's the home of Brazil nuts, a delicious treat. You can grind up those Brazil nuts, put them on your ice cream, do whatever the hell you want with them. You know what else is great about Brazil? Is beach volleyball. It's also where beach volleyball was invented. When you go to Brazil, go to the beach. It's one of the greatest things you're ever going to do, because I tell you what else is at the beach. Girls with big butts. Girls with huge booties. They were also invented in Brazil. So when you go to the beach, you're going to tell people, I want to check out some beach volleyball. You wear some dark glasses. Really, you're a pervert disguising the fact you want to see some big booties. And that's the problem. That's what you're going to find over in Brazil. Beach booties, Brazil nuts, beach volleyball, and big-ass booties. And you're going to thank me later. For more weather tips, make sure you follow me, Drake Comic, twitchtv.com/Drake Comic. You see the text right there. Do what you're told. Check me out. We'll see you next time. This is the weather.
That was weird. I guess me, myself, and I now has a weatherman. So yay. I've got a weatherman that's going to be reporting all over the world. Drake Comic will be officially the weatherman for me, myself, and I, which is awesome because we need to know what's going on besides the world going on fire. So you see, beach booty weather. I've got the weather, and when I get the weather, I get the weather. So, but I still want to do mic commercials for each and every one of you. So if you have a small business or a performing artist, send me a message. Let's make these commercials for you. So, what is next? I hope everyone had a good weekend. Last Saturday, I got a chance to go to the peaceful protests for George Floyd in Sacramento. And let me tell you something. It was phenomenal. We probably have COVID, but it doesn't matter because we marched for the right reasons. It was peaceful. It was remarkable. It was beautiful. I heard some amazing speeches, and we had some, it wasn't a riot. People weren't fighting. People were coming together and just being there and just, being there for each other. And I think that's what's beautiful about Sacramento is we all come together at the right time, and just seeing everyone march in a huge crowd, not even thinking twice about social distancing, because this is the right thing we need to do right now. This whole world is upside down. Race tensions are at an all-time high. And I think having that, the main reason why I decided to go is because I needed to feel the peace. You see so much tension going on. You feel it. And, but just to know that there's peace around us while we're marching for the right cause, for the right thing, is a good thing to do. And I enjoyed it. And there was no fights unless I left. But I did see a couple of black guys hitting on some white women there during the march. I did. I swear. I wish I took a picture. I brought some cameras, so I took a lot of pictures at this wonderful protest. And what was cool was I'm gonna put it on my blog. It's gonna be on my website. There's some cool pictures. But I wish this one black guy was, yeah, it's the right cause. She's like, oh my god, it's for the right cause. I'll do it. Hey, I'm not hating. That's wonderful. That's a beautiful thing. Okay, all right. I gotta keep going because I don't want to waste this gentleman's time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very, very, very excited, very happy to have this gentleman that's on the show right now. You listened to him on V101. You've seen him on Fox 45. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to introduce to you Mr. Big Al Sams. There he is.
What is up? What is up, man? How you doing, brother?
Good, man. Thank you for being on the show, dude.
Man, so you saw a whole lot of things at that march, didn't you? So a whole lot.
So I saw that black dude hitting on the white woman, and she was all for it. You can't hate, if that's going to create racial harmony, go for it,
Hey, we're all in this together, huh?
Exactly. How you been, man?
Oh, I've been doing good. Definitely doing good. It's been a weird sandwich. We talked about this. We were at the march, man. It's been crazy dealing with the recession, dealing with COVID, and then George Floyd all at the same time. And you're trying to, everything's been happening. It's been a very historic moment in, I would say, Earth's history.
I know, man.
I've seen so many people protesting. I mean, I got friends in New Zealand, and they're like all over, like they're just talking about this thing. It's amazing.
What's up, Angela? How you doing?
Really cool. Really, really cool.
Definitely. Yeah, man. The last time I saw you before this protest was at the Dr. Martin Luther King March in January. And that was my first Dr. Martin Luther King March ever. And just seeing you and I, totally different feel. That was very peaceful, and that was very, nurturing and wonderful. And it was a learning lesson. And then this one, it was kind of like, we have to do this to pursue peace. It wasn't like a tradition to keep Dr. Martin Luther King's message going. This was like, we are on the side of history. And for Sacramento to come together as a collective and peacefully march together and give praise. And I'm sure you felt it when you were marching.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the whole idea of the march was to get people that didn't look like you or act like you or talk like you to walk. And yes, we're honoring the man because it happened to be on Martin Luther King's celebrated birthday. But what about those tenets, those things that he had always preached and stood for? As with any movement, it's left up to us after the person has passed away or moved on into other things. And it's up to us. What are we going to do? What are we going to say? What are we going to do? Are we going to reach our hands across the aisle and pull us together? Or are you just going to wait till, you say something and you dip into your little hole? That's not how this is going to work. And with the George Floyd thing, this is accelerated things to where, look, it's time to start talking. It's time to do something. And that's what the Martin Luther King March was all about, really, to have those uncomfortable conversations.
And you know what, man, that peaceful protest on Saturday, anything could have popped off at any time. Rubber bullets, cops could have just went berserk. People could have went berserk. We were literally walking on broken glass. Something could have happened at any given moment, at any given time. You got mass. You got to worry about, unfortunately, you got to worry about terrorism. You got to worry about the white supremacy. You got to worry about, police brutality. You got to worry about all that stuff. But we didn't care, man. We all went together for one reason, man, and just to go there peacefully. So
I think everybody's sense of duty kind of overrode the sense of, hey, we need to say something. It became a sense of duty more than just, hey, I just want to come out there and kick it. It was everyone had a message, a purpose, a meaning for going out there, and it was a beautiful thing. Nothing happened. There was no fights. There was no nothing. It was beautiful, and everybody, all different races, and just. It was beautiful. And they even had people passing out masks. I loved it.
Thank you for the comment, Lisa. We really appreciate that. Lisa says it's beautiful. So that's awesome. It's funny that you say it was our not funny, but it's great that you said it's our duty to go out there, because to me, that's how I felt with hashtag Blackout Tuesday. I felt like I needed to go online, hashtag Blackout Tuesday, and walk away from being online for it. I canceled the show in solidarity to walk away from it. And then I come back and it's like this huge uproar that was the wrong thing to do. I'm like, dude, it's simple. Just put hashtag Blackout Tuesday and then walk away. But then people were making this huge uproar that it was clogging different feeds and everything. And it wasn't. People just don't know how to follow directions. I think that's the problem. It's Blackout Tuesday. That's all you got to do. Blackout Tuesday, walk away from the internet. Real simple.
Turn off. But the idea was like, to turn off what you're normally doing, and the music industry actually started this, by the way. We're not going to sell any CDs, not going to sell any streams, we're not going to do any of that. This one day, take a break and have that conversation, because I've noticed that we're always waiting for the other guy to do it. We're waiting for the other guy to fight for us, and and then when they get assassinated, or when they stop, or when they move to Aruba, or whatever they do, it's still left on us. What are we gonna do? What am I gonna do to better my block? What about my street? Do I even go talk to my neighbors? Am I gonna go to a city council meeting? Am I gonna go to whatever I need to do to help the movement in my own way? And I think that was the big push to back away from Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of that, and to talk about those things. And
a lot of people didn't even do that. They put the Blackout Tuesday, and a lot of people were waiting for likes, and then they put hashtag Black Lives Matter, and then when you put the hashtag Black Lives Matter, it was all clogging up the feed. I think,
and they said, please don't
hashtag
Black Lives Matter. This ain't got nothing. Black Lives Matter did not start this whole thing. This is something that a certain industry did their part in the movement, but it wasn't it wasn't something that Black Lives Matter told me. And that pretty much decided the whole thing. Like, hey, you doing this for justice or to get likes? You
A lot
know,
of people were doing
and
it for just to get likes. They were just waiting by and
yeah,
clogging up the feed and stuff. And I think that's what is the main. Also, another problem with people not talking about racism is that they are not following directions. They're not doing your due diligence. It's simple.
it ain't that hard. It
You
ain't that
know,
hard.
racism sucks. Let's talk about it. It's
Right,
pretty simple,
right.
you know. And you're not from here. You're from Chicago, right?
Originally from Chicago, Illinois. Yes.
Okay. Why don't you? Do you mind telling us about what's it like living? What was it like living in Chicago?
Well, you know, when you say Chicago is rough, they ain't lying. It's rough, baby. It's rough. I grew up in an area that, you know, and I was born and raised in West Side Chicago, a spot called K-Town.
Hmm.
And I'm trying to get my stuff. There you go. Straighten it out a little bit.
It's okay.
Called
I can give you the full
K-Town.
platform. Hold on. I can give you the. Hold on.
Oh, see, there it is.
There
There
we
it is.
go.
So there's a little spot called K-Town. Everything begins with the letter K. It's just a cute little thing. But and then and then moving to South Side Chicago at that point before we decided to get out of the city, we're like, oh, let's move to Oakland where it's safe, you know, with that whole
Right.
thing. Because it was pretty raw out there. It was pretty tough for me growing up as a kid in you know, late 70s, early 80s, and just, you know, we talked about that at the march. I mean, I dealt I was stopped and frisked at 7, you know, 7 years old.
7 years old.
Yeah, we were coming. My mom was trying to do something a little bit better, and there was a Catholic school down the street from our house, and we lived on Kaminsky, K-Town, and so I was going to public school, and they're like, hey, why don't we get you into this Catholic school called Our Lady of Lourdes? And so when you go to Catholic school, you got to have the polo with the sweater on and the, you know, the pants, and our colors were yellow and brown. I mean, come on, man. You know, and so me and my friends were walking home. I only had 4 blocks to walk home from school. It was that close.
Wow.
And I'll never forget it. Officer O'Flaherty. And he rolled up and basically, hey, go ahead, face the wall on the whole thing. So his 3 kids, we all got our little Catholic school best on. And we, you know, I'm like 8. I just turned 8. And I'm like right here on the side of the wall. He's looking at us like, oh, you're wearing, you know, I'm not even gonna try to imitate him. But basically was saying, you know, oh, you think you're fancy because you're wearing nice clothes every day. I'm like, just anything to try to aggravate. He tried to aggravate us and he gets upset and angry. And that way he gives him a reason. He must have had a boring day. And then he basically just like threw our bags back and said, yeah, I'm gonna come back tomorrow. I'm like, who is this dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I went home. I told my mom, and the next day, my mom and then the other 2 kids that were with me, their parents showed up and went to the pastor, you know, Father Cyrus, and Father Cyrus is Irish, and he knew O'Flaherty, the cop, and he just basically, I mean, he gave him the riot act in front of us to him, and I never saw him again. But at least there was somebody that was trying to advocate in our set. So that was the one thing that started my journey into not liking police.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I got to Sacramento, I hated police, and with a passion.
When did you move from Chicago to Sacramento?
So I kind of moved around. I went from Chicago to Oakland. I went to high school there, went to Oakland High, and then you know, OPD. You already know, task force. Yeah, it's real. It's real, and they just anybody they can grab, they were just coming. And unfortunately, they didn't get me at that time. But I had so many friends who were stopped and frisked and arrested and thrown in jail. Somebody went to Santa Rita like every other week, and
Wow.
It was terrible. And, you know, then I was like, okay, I'm getting out of here. And I got accepted to go to Cal State University in Long Beach. So I came to Cal State University in Long Beach, and it was even worse than Oakland.
Wait, Long Beach was worse than Oakland?
Yeah, so remind you, this was pre-NWA F the police.
Gotcha.
So this was like 88, 89, you know, and it was just terrible. It was just terrible. And like police just felt that they had their inalienable right to beat Black people up. I mean, it was so every day. It wasn't even, and it bled into Long Beach. Long Beach PD did the same. It happened to LAPD, LA Sheriff, and it's bled on into the LA suburbs, including Long Beach, which is like 40 minutes away from LA. And they just felt that they could do the same thing. And they did the same thing. Now, there were a few good police officers in that actually helped and came to the communities. And so I started seeing those changes, but it was way more bad cops than good cops. And I didn't understand things like, police unions and internal affairs. I didn't understand any of them. By the time I'm like 20 and like, wait a minute, and I was there at the Rodney King rallies, like the Rodney King, when the verdict went not guilty for all the police that beat up Rodney King. I don't think it was guilty of all charges, but pretty much it was, they got nothing. Mm-hmm. And I was there at UCLA when they pushed the buses over, and I was 20 and I was angry and all the stuff that happened to me, and it was a wrap. And I was
How could you not be angry though? How could you not be angry?
Yeah. So it was just, here we go. We caught them red-handed, and like, and obviously there was no social media. So no 24-hour news cycle, except like CNN had just started the 24-hour news cycle at that point.
Right.
And, there was nothing else that we can share. We got the videotape, we got everything's red-handed, and they still got off. And that would set the whole thing off. And it was terrible. It didn't really hit home for me until I'm getting out of my apartment, me and my two roommates. I'm getting out of my apartment to go to the bus stop to go catch the bus to go down to Long Beach State. I was staying in apartments at the time. And there was a tank right there on the main drag. It's
like a movie.
I was on 7th and Orizaba. And so I'm on Orizaba walking to 7th Street where the bus stop is. And boom, tank right here on this side of the block. And then the other side of the block, a deuce and a half, like 2.5 ton, truck, like a personnel truck. And it was the National Guard. And I'm like, whoa, it's so bad. Now they got tanks in Long Beach. Mm-hmm. That's, that really hit home for me. And it was like, and the guy sitting there, he don't know why. He's like, I don't even know why I'm here. I only go once a weekend to do training. And now, now I'm in Long Beach for a tank. What am I doing here? So, I started seeing things on the other side of the fence. But the racism was still there. Signal Hill. If anybody lives in the Long Beach area, and I tell you the word Signal Hill, they will know. It was not the best place to be. A little section outside of Long Beach, and it was just racism incarnate. And we just knew, as football, I played football at Long Beach State. We just knew, don't go to Signal Hill. There was no way that we can protect ourselves. If it was 2020 and we go to Signal Hill and something happened and we got our cameras, we can videotape us, but there was nothing back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, there's nothing. It's just a word against theirs. Mm-hmm. So with that, man, why do you think the police department can get away with so much crap? Why? Well, what is holding it over their heads that they make them not accountable? That makes them feel like they're above the law, and they always say they're not. But what do you think is the catalyst that makes it okay? Is it because it's the money, or do you think it's just the undertone, or whoever's in charge? It just bleeds into everything else, or?
Well, I think it ties into when I came to Sacramento to start doing radio, and that's when I met some really awesome people who were police officers. I met this guy. He was sheriff's deputy. His name is Jim Cooper. He's now state assemblyman Jim Cooper.
Yeah, in Elk Grove.
So, but at the time he was sheriff's deputy, and I met him. And I think my first day at the radio station, I was at KSFM in Sacramento, and I met him like the second day I was working there, and he came up to talk about something like, don't drink and drive, that whole thing. And he was really cool, and he was black. And I'm like, I've never saw a black police officer. Swear to God in heaven.
Wow.
Before I came to Sacramento, California. And
it's funny that you go ahead. I'm sorry.
I knew there was people that was out there, but I never saw them.
It's funny, when I was in the Navy, there's this one new recruit. He was from Kentucky, and he was walking around the ship, and he was just going like this. He's like, I'm like, what's wrong, dude? He's like, He's like, man. And he was a nice, genuine, honest person, but he was just shocked. He's like, man. I was like, what? He's like, there's a lot of black people on the ship. I'm like, and coming from California, I'm like, what's wrong with that? He's like, I've never seen that in my town. This is his exact words. I've only seen them on television. Can you believe that? So for you not to see a black cop until you came to Sacramento at what, 20?
Right.
That just
it's nuts. I mean, by the time I came to Sacramento, I was 27, and I left and I worked in Long Beach. I worked in LA and all that stuff, and I came to Sacramento to start the radio career, and that was my first time seeing a black police officer ever.
How'd that make you feel?
I mind blown. I was like, whoa, this is like, we dreamed about this in Chicago. If there was cops that looked like me in my own neighborhood, then it was.
That was in the 90s, right? That's in the 80s, 90s for you to first experience that.
This was like, by the time I came to Sacramento, it was 1997.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. And so we had a relationship. We talked, and I had any question I had about policing, I would talk to him. I would call him. I would tell him my story, and he was like, "Well, let me tell you about this. There are some bad ones, and I'm just gonna say that right now, but there's good ones in here too. And your job as a citizen is to know who the good ones are and who the bad ones are." And I was like,
shouldn't that be the cop's job to know who the good cops are and the bad ones are?
Why do I need to look at that? What is there? I mean, can't the good cops blow out the bad cops? What's going on? I don't know about procedure. I understand that, but he just wanted me to know that there are good ones here, and I actually met a few other great people that happen to be police officers, but they also did a lot. These particular folks did a lot of community policing, which meant that they lived in the neighborhood that they patrolled.
Gotcha.
And they knew all the people as much as they could in the neighborhood. And that way, when they came to the house for whatever, they're walking in and say, "Hey, how you doing? And how's your daughter? How's little Molly over there? Is she going to school? She got good grades? How's the baby?" So they were like really into their people's lives that they were sworn to protect in that particular city or the area. And so
you don't see that feel anymore with cops. And I know a lot of great police officers as well. And they, they're on a battlefield. The good cops are on both sides of the battlefield. Battlefield against crazy people and battlefield against crazy police officers that are racist, that will probably hunt you down and your family down for speaking up against the police department. So I can't imagine the frustration what they're going through on both ends as well. I can't imagine, I can't even fathom how that feels, especially when you want to protect your family, you want to protect your friends and the community, so what I'm saying is, so do you think when you got into radio here in Sacramento, do you believe that you had a responsibility?
I felt that I did.
Yeah.
I mean, initially when you go, radio is entertainment. It's a form of entertainment. You say some crazy stuff and make people laugh, and because most people are just driving to work and driving from work, or they happen to be at work, and people are allowed to have radios or whatever they can have and at their workstation. So you try to keep them entertained. And being a person, I used to work in the office before I worked at a radio station, so I knew what it felt like to be in a cubicle. You're like, God, can this day be over? And the only thing you got is that little radio, that little box.
Right.
And I did that, but I also felt that I always volunteered for community stuff my entire life. And to know what's going on in the community was a very high important part for me. So I kind of wove that into the crazy jokes about P. Diddy and all this stuff. I would weave that in and talk about the homeless, or talk about, whatever the issues are of the day.
It's meant just being in radio is such a huge, powerful entity, especially during with what's going on in the world today and what you've been going through. People will listen and go for you for guidance and clarity, and to let everyone know, no matter how much crap is going on right now, we still got this radio station. We're still here to entertain. We're still here to celebrate one thing, and that's music. I mean, that's the whole purpose of you being on the station is, I don't see you being like an Alex Jones sitting in the hot seat. We're going to sit in the hot seat. You're such a cool, chill guy that, I don't see you putting people in a hot seat. You want to put people in a tone to make them feel that no matter what crap's going on, as long as you're tuning in to listen to me, we're going to be okay because we're doing this together. And it's kind of like you're a leader of your own corporation, and you got to tell your coworkers that this is going to be fine. We're going to be okay with together.
Yeah, it's just true. You have to have it. I love the analogy. It kind of shows the responsibility that I have as a presenter to give the actual factual information and to give my opinion. I can say things, oh, that doggone light on Arden way, I'm sick of it. I can do that. But if it's something that is really gripping the city, I feel that we have a duty to talk about it and to at least to acknowledge that it exists, because I forget that we're the place that people go to get away from that foolishness. And so for us to be talking foolishness right along with everybody else, they're like, well, we ain't got no place to reside, to at least get away from it. So I try to be that, acknowledge the elephant in the room, but to say, like you say, hey, it's going to be fine. This too shall pass. And this is how it can be done, how you can affect yourself right this very instant. That's where my duty comes in, to give that option if you wish to take it.
I'll tell you what, you got my vote if you're running for office. You already have my vote. You ready?
I approve this message, baby.
Yes. Big Al approves it. So when you were working with V101, that's the hip hop station, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. So do you feel what did you like about V101 with hip hop and everything that's going on that you've been through from Chicago to Sacramento to where you were in V101?
Well, the thing I liked about it was I was able to really talk, because the format was throwback hip hop and R&B. So it was basically the old stuff, that
good stuff
I literally grew up with, in college and high school and, in LA and, started in Sacramento. And so I grew up listening to that. And so V101 at the time was like, where were you when this song came on, when this song first played? Mm-hmm. And it was basically bringing back those good memories, or maybe a painful memory for somebody, or like when I would play Dear Mama by Tupac. And I never had so many calls of, oh my God, I miss my mama. She passed away of cancer. And every time I play that song, that makes me cry, or I laugh. I think about the great times that I had with her, and thank you for playing that song. Or like, when I played Knocking the Boots by H-Town, yeah, you know it.
You should have played on Saturday when that black guy was hitting on that white woman.
That's all we needed, Brian. That would be perfect.
Right in the background, knocking them.
That's basically my role. And that's kind of all the roles at the station of their outlook on what they do, whatever they can bring up those memories. We try to jump on it, and then I just kind of went a little bit extra and gave a little bit of history of the song at the time it was being played. Things like, when Shaggy and Janet Jackson had their song, but in recording the song, they really hated each other. They hated being in the studio together. They just did, for some reason, the chemistry did not happen.
Really?
Jump off, but they did the song. It was a smash hit. It was the weirdest thing.
They saw their paycheck and like, all right, let's just get through this.
All right, we'll put up with it.
Let's just get through this.
And there's so many behind the scenes things of how these groups that are still out there now, how they operate. And I'm sitting there like, I'm stunned they even get on stage. I mean, just all kinds of stuff. It's right. But giving it a little bit of insight on that music, so that you hear the song and it has more meaning to it. Mm-hmm. Hey, that was important to me.
So you've grown up and learning about hip hop, working for V101 with hip hop, throwback hip hop. Where do you think or what do you think hip hop's responsibility is nowadays, especially right now?
Well, it's definitely a way to communicate. Hip hop is kind of a way of putting this moment into a capsule, into a time capsule, and talking about what happened here. And I think hip hop has today's artists, I should probably say, today's artists, some of them are very locked in. You got your Kendrick Lamars, you got, you got your folks that locked in on, this is a seminal moment in history. I want to chronicle it in my own way.
Right.
And there's others that's like, man, I'm just trying to make money, man. I don't care about this. Just get my money, get my dro. I don't care. And that's the part that's going to be missing with this. The folks who acknowledge the elephant in the room again will benefit. I mean,
hip hop's supposed to have that human connection with your listener and that feel. Whenever you hear that beat drop, you already know those lyrics are going to hit hard because it's talking about real stuff.
And they actually really backed it up. Public Enemy is one of my favorite groups.
Nice.
And I'm a big PE fan, and I see him perform today, and S1Ws, they'll kick his eye, or Griffey walking around, I think he got a cane or something, but it doesn't matter because they represented, fight the power, anti-establishment,
right?
Like they made a song that I was very happy my program director let me play it, and the song was called "By the Time I Get to Arizona," and Public Enemy, and this is how off the chain they were. So when they created Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, the national holiday, it's only been since the 80s. It's since the late 80s.
Right.
And there was one state that did not approve it, one governor that will not represent it. And it was a governor in Arizona. And I forget the guy's name. But he said MLK Day will be a national holiday over my dead body. And Public Enemy was like, So they made By the Time I Get to Arizona, which described them going to Arizona, assassinating the governor, and installing the national holiday of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. That's how radical they were. They made, it was like they didn't care. They didn't care. And as far as they were concerned, we are at war. Everything that people are saying now in June 2020, they've been saying that since 6. Isn't
that crazy?
Yes. I say somewhere, I wrote that on Twitter, somewhere Chuck D is popping champagne right now. They finally got it. By George, they got it. You know? It's amazing. So we expect a lot of hip hop groups to have that, not necessarily that radical, but at least to have that type of oomph, that energy, that motivating, like more than just go buy my record. It's just talk about this. And
don't buy my record. Don't buy I don't care how much money you have. What is your message you're trying to say? It's funny that you brought that up too, with how there's two types of hip hop artists. There's the ones that talk about money, and there's the ones that talk about message. And I tell you what, man, there's one I truly love, and you're a big fan of Chuck D. I love KRS-One, my friend.
Oh,
I want to show you something, man. This is dope. This is gonna be so cool. Have you read this book? The Gospel of Hip Hop. Look at that, dude. I've read it numerous times. I got tabs like it's the Bible, bro. The Gospel of here. If everyone can see it, look at this. Look at this. The Gospel of Hip Hop. This book will change your life. Even if you don't know hip hop, you don't understand it. This book will help you break into what is it like to be a hip hop. He breaks it down. He breaks it down as if it's a religion.
Yeah.
Because basically hip hop artists and comedians and live performers, we are God's voice, and we are his instrument that flows through and spiritually connects with the whole. Look at, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it, but we are his instrument. And as radio, we are God's instrument to please to the masses and spread that message correctly. So that's all. I highly recommend.
Amen. Amen. Hey, preach, brother, preach.
Preach. Actually, you know, I'll read. Yeah, dude, it's get it, man. Okay, just get
Please
this book.
get it. Please get it.
I'm gonna say it again. The Gospel of Hip Hop, first instrument presented by KRS-One. I mean,
man, I love KRS-One because he was really like I think it started as a secret, a simple thing of, hey, we need to chronicle this because hip hop is always on anecdotal stories and I heard in Tennessee this happened and oh man, he whipped this dude in this battle and because there was no Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, there was none of that. So it had the whole idea of word is born. It really meant like, hey, as a witness, I saw this happened,
right.
and people went with the trust of that. And KRS-One was like, we need to chronicle this. So they created like they make it a hip hop museum in New York.
Yeah.
And they're, him and Nas and a few other folks, a few other OGs, they want to chronicle this because, the progenitors of hip hop, they're now in their 70s and 80s. They Kool Herc. I mean, it's Bambaataa, Cool DJ Red Alert. These guys are up there, and so they're not going to be around this earth for too long. This needs to be chronicled. So KRS-One is always that person to spearhead that type of movement of chronicling things.
And he never talks.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Another book. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but another book you want to check out is "Can't Stop, Won't Stop."
Who's that by?
There's a couple of reporters, and I'm drawing a blank on the reporter's name right now. A couple of guys, but they were there. They chronicled. They were trying to get the anecdotal stories in written form,
right?
And and so I think KRS-One's the Gospel of Hip Hop kind of went over that, but they kind of covered when when Flavor Flav actually performed at Juilliard. And they, Chuck D and Flavor Flav did college radio, and they talked about all those different things. Or before MF Doom became MF Doom, he was Zeph Love X, and how he became MF Doom, and how the record labels used to screw him up, and how radio at the time was hip hop's enemy.
Right.
They had the love-hate relationship. So Can't Stop, Won't Stop really breaks all those things down. Could you
imagine if the record labels back in the day, in the peak of the 80s, with KRS-One and NWA and Chuck D and Public Enemy, could you imagine if they worked with them, how powerful of an impact where we would be right now? They would be the Mount Rushmore. And do you think society would be a lot different if the record business was on board with hip hop?
I don't think society would be any different, but at least hip hop, the culture of hip hop, the artists, the fans, the public, the people who buy tickets, they would be much more unified. It's
right.
more than just because now the political stuff gets tied in with it. It's more than just I'm gonna buy me a ticket to go see a show and I'm gonna go back home. It's I'm gonna buy a ticket and the guy is basically preaching that ghetto gospel to
right.
audience.
Ghetto gospel. Hallelujah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah, man.
And they speak on it, and they would be more locked in, and it would be more than just commerce.
It wouldn't be just a show. It would be going to church and having a spiritual connection with everybody under one roof. Yeah, man. That's awesome, man.
I totally agree.
Yeah. Well, dude, you said when you mentioned Public Enemy going to Phoenix, I got something to show you. I don't know if everyone. Hold on, I got to answer some wonderful stuff. Hernan Saya says humor takes you a long way. Hernan, dude, I'm telling you, man, Hernan is a good dude, man. He's going to be on the show next week. If you know anything, folks, if you know anything about podcasting, you want to grow more, Hernan is going to be the one that's going to teach us next week. He's going to be the teacher next week. So yeah, man. So, but I wanted to show you something. You talk about, I don't know if you've seen this. This is for everybody. If they haven't seen it, this is the greatest thing right now in today's social climate. And I can't wait to show you. It's so much fun. I can't wait. Hold on. Let me get it all set up. Here we go. Oh, dude, this is so good. This is so good. This is so good.
Excuse me, but you did say that she needs to go back to her country. What kind of what is that?
Literally Native Americans.
Excuse me, this is what this whole world.
White people are not from this country. Don't serve her. Yeah, you cannot serve her racist ass.
You don't tell. No. Continue serving.
Black Lives Matter, bitch.
You do not use the S word and swear and call me a bitch.
I've never even.
I said she is, and you're not a part of that. You get out of here. I know. I said she is, and that's why she's leaving. So you will leave too.
No.
Oh, it gets better. Watch this.
You told her to go back to her country where she's from.
I didn't have to with her. That's assault.
Yeah.
You guys know that, right?
Yeah.
Where were you born? Where were you born, bitch? I was born in America, bitch. Where are your ancestors from? They're not from this country. You're going back to Mexico. Bitch, you better go back to where you're from. You just left. You just left.
You see that?
Oh my God.
You see that slap?
Oh my God.
Well, I told it. Oh, bam! One more time. Here's my best part of the video right here, dude.
We're not from this country.
This is my best part.
Yeah, you cannot serve her racist ass.
You don't tell. No. Continue serving. Continue serving.
Shut it down. Shut it
Black Lives
down.
Matter, bitch.
Shut it down.
She slapped her hard too, man. Woo.
Man.
And you know what? She deserved it. She went in there guns blazing. She thought she was gonna be all this and that, and just because I see someone that's looking different than me, I'm gonna be better than them. And look what happened. Now they call her Phoenix Karen. So Phoenix Karen got slapped by the thunder.
Hey, they don't play out there, Arizona. They don't play. They do not play.
Oh man, you know what? More people need to, because so many people are so brave behind the keyboard, and then when they start being growing up, I was never even thought or had to fathom to treat people disrespectfully. Didn't matter what color they were. Didn't matter what their culture was. I never had that conversation because my family were good people and we were always good to everyone else. It's pretty simple, But yeah, that she deserved it. Black Lives Matter, bitch.
Great season, go.
Dude, could you imagine Karen going in the car and her husband's like, "Where's my pack of cigarettes? You won't understand. She hit me, bitch. Where's my pack of cigarettes?" He probably slapped on the other. I don't condone that, but I'm just saying.
Oh my God. It's so ridiculous. You have to laugh at it nowadays. But unfortunately, that's how things happen. I mean, it's I've had a few, hey, you need to go back to where you came from. I'm like, no. Then give me my money, give my receipt back from the time we built the White House twice. And,
right.
You got some, hey, we need some redemption here.
Right.
That's kind of a weird way of talking about it, but it's like we didn't my ancestors didn't emigrate over here and found liberty. We were delivered. We were
kidnapped.
I'm not trying to diss any companies out here, but I didn't emigrate here. We were FedEx over here. 2-day shipping, and that's what we were, just commerce. We were like like a stand or you order a mask off, and that's what we were shipped over.
Well, that's what that girl said. She's like, I was born here. Your family was not from here. She's like, her family was born here. She was Mexican, so Mexico was here first. The natives were here first, and then what? And then
Mexico, the Four Corner States, California, and New Mexico was all part of Mexico.
Right.
You invaded our spot.
Right. So we need to reciprocate that, man. So I'm gonna title this podcast "Black Lives Matter," bitch. Oh man, Big Al, dude, thank you so much for being on the show, man. It was this is the fastest, almost 50 minutes worth on the podcast. It went by really quick, man. I hope you had a good time, my friend.
Oh, I had a blast, man. It's always good talking to you, just on the regular, brother. So
Yeah, bro.
man.
It needs to be more often, my friend.
Yeah. So this would be like we call this Tuesday, basically.
Right.
It doesn't. We just talking. I love this. I love this. This is great.
But thank you for your time. If you can do me a favor, man, if you can tell people about this podcast, let them know about your show, us right now today. And then also, don't forget, pick up The Gospel of Hip Hop by KRS-One. Amen.
Gospel of Hip Hop. Hey, make sure you go copy. And Can't Stop, Won't Stop. Make sure you go.
Okay, I already wrote it down.
Historical things is awesome.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Folks, don't forget, me, myself, and I will be moving to Thursday nights starting June 25th. So no more afternoon shows. Thursday night, prime time, 8 p.m., starting June 25th. So we're going to have a primetime show. And everyone that's commented, hold on, let's see all these comments, these wonderful comments. Everyone that's leaving, George Taro, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Hello, sir. Hernan, again, thank you. Buzzy, ouch. I don't know why he said ouch, but okay. He said, okay, you rock on. But and Elizabeth Brown, thank you. Hello. Thank you so much. And everyone else, thank you guys for being a part of the show. Support Big Al. Do you got anything coming up or anything you got to promote?
I'm going to have a new podcast myself called the What's Your Power podcast.
What's Your Power?
What's Your Power? What's
nice.
Your power? What is that? What do you have that makes yourself so unique than everybody else? What is that special sauce we want to know about? I want to explore that. Business owners, reporters, anybody that's out there, I definitely want to pursue what you're doing. And also, hey, how'd you got started? That's the What's Your Power podcast.
Nice, man. Anytime you want to come on the show and promote it, man, we are here for you as well. So thank you, my friend. And thank you, everyone else. Really appreciate it. You guys have a wonderful evening. But before we go, dude, we gotta do the salsa. I need you to snap, Mr. Big Al. This is it. We're gonna get down, get funky. Yeah, we're out of here, folks. Get ready to salsa.
Me, myself, and I.
Oh.
It's me, myself, and I.
Yeah, salsa.